Good morning. It is Saturday. It may not be Saturday when you watch this, but there might be a 1 in 7 chance that it is. So, in class, we introduced classes and objects, or at least we came back to them a second time, and what I want to do is walk you through one of the practice problems that you're going to be working on. So that way you have a sense for what the overall rhythm of your work might look like. So, what I've done is I've written up some practice problems based on your brainstorming. And the first problem I have is that we might develop a class for interweb users or interblag users. And we have here the XKCD comic, which is the definitive name generator for all things on the internet. For example, the Worldwide Sphere or the Intertubes. So you can take a look at that. So what I've done is I've decided we should have some interblag users. Now, we're going to write some code for this, and I've written some tests for you so that you can find out if your work is working. I've gone ahead and created a folder called Class Practice. You may call yours what you like. And I'm always going to create a file that is named for the class. By that I mean if I'm creating a class called interblag, I'm going to go ahead and create a file called interblag.py, and it will be all lowercase. You'll notice that when in your download, you're going to get a series of tests. Ooh, looks scary. And those will be named for the class and then with the word test attached. Let's say my name and date. I don't know, this is March 3rd, 2018. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we know who I am. And if I come back over here, use my keyboard shortcuts, this is the bare minimum that I need to start writing a class. So if I'm lazy, I can copy and paste that. And if I save my code, at this point, I should be able to run the test. Say, all right, I've got a class, there's nothing in it. I'd like to run my tests. Oh. This is no good. It says that there are many errors. There are 3 errors. So first of all, it says that my interblag object does not take any parameters. That's no good. Well, that's because it doesn't do anything at all yet. So let's read the documentation. Define the class variables known as fields that this class contains. An age, a gender, a favorite app, times per day. You already did the design work to come up with these ideas. So I'm going to paste that right here for a minute. And so by saying that I need to define the class variables, that means that I need to say that I'd like age to be initialized to 0. I'd like gender to be initialized to none. It's going to be a string, but we're not going to choose a default gender for our user. Favorite app, that'll also be a string, so by default there won't be one. Times per day on app. Let's by default say that it's 0. So, I've got my variables, and if I want to, I can pretty them up a little bit, line everything up neatly. There we go. Now, what do I have to do next? Make sure to assign default value. Yeah, I did that. When you create an interblag object, you should give it the name of the app you're using. So when I write code like IB equals interblag tweeter, that tells me that the special function init, which every class needs to have, should have in it, just like every function in a class should take a self. All right, that's a reference to whatever object we're creating. So it's me. If it helps you, you can use me instead if you think of yourself as the object. Bill Murray, be the ball, never mind. Self, and then I need to pass in the app name. And do I even have a variable for the name of the app? Yes. That's the favorite app. So if I want to set this variable, I'm going to say self.favoriteApp is equal to this variable right here, app name. So that way when someone creates an object from this class, and they say that I'd like it to be a Tweeter app or a Feedly app, that it will set its internal variable to the name that we are given. Let's test that. Import interblag. It says no. It says age is not defined. Oh, look at that. I left all of this stuff in here. Python says no. All right, let's try this again. Import interblag. It says okay. So I can say IB equals interblag Feedly. Ooh, interblag is not defined. I know why. From interblag import star. Now I can say IB equals interblag Feedly. All right, what that did is that created an interblag object. So I can now say print. I don't have to print if I'm on the console. What is the age? 0. What is the gender? None. What is the favorite app? Haha! It's Feedly. So what that tells me is that this variable was set, was stored in the class variable. We're all set. We are cooking with steam heat now, which actually in some parts campus is kind of true. So that, by the way, was a way to test your code in the terminal. And when I'm done, I type exit. And then I type clear. If you want to see it again, you can run the video back and pause it. Now, let's see. Define a function that is able to set both the favorite app and the times per day the user is on the app. Call these set favorite app and set times per day on app. These should be inside the class. Right, so I have to define a function called set favorite app. So def set favorite app. Do you know what? This looks exactly like this, because all it does is let me set the name of the app. Set times per day on def set times per day on the app has a self and a number of times. I'm going to say self dot times dot times. How do you make that thing work? Times per day. I'm going to hit tab. Ooh, that worked. All right. Self dot set times per day on app is equal to times. Both of those functions are just so that I can come in and set that variable, and so I can set that variable. That's all they do. So that way a user of my objects can change values inside the object. Far seems okay. Python from interblag import star. Do I have memory? No, I don't have any memory. IB equals new, nope, equals interblag Feedly IB dot set times per day on app. Let's find out. Let's add IB dot times per day on app is 0. IB dot set times per day on app 30 times a day. IB dot times, I'm going to use up arrow. Ooh, it changed. I use that 300 times a day. Ooh, it changed. Okay, this is pretty cool. So far my code is working. This is exciting. Now what I should be able to do I have any tests for this? Nope. So the professor is going to write a test. Def test set times self IB1 equals just copy. Do this. Just copy and paste to create my, and then I will assert assert equals IB dot times per day on app is So you don't have to do that part. But what that lets us run is Python interblag test. Ooh, look at this. The dot here. Ran 4 tests. First one is an error. Second one is an error. Third one is an error. All right. So it ran 4 tests and one of them worked. What this bit up here says. Now the reason the others don't work is we haven't written the code. That's cool. So once again, if you never look in here, that's okay. What you're going to do is be running these tests over and over until your code. Let's see. So now to finally define the 2 following functions inside the class based on the content. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy and paste this whole thing. Ooh, I'm going to make sure the indentation is right. All right. There we go. Indented everything. So this is supposed to take an integer, and it's supposed to give me back an integer. So that means there's going to be a return statement. It takes in the average number of minutes spent in the app as an integer and returns the total number of minutes spent in the app per day by multiplying that times the times per day. All right. So somebody gives me the average time as an integer, and I want to return the average time that they spend on the app multiplied by the times per day on the app. That's so long, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to say, so we'll take the average time that they spend times per day on the app. And some wrapping here. You can see that that's just return this times that. It's really meant to be a simple calculation. I'm not asking you to do particularly complex calculations for this work. It's about practicing writing functions inside of the class. So now I'm able to, do I have a test for that? Yes, I do. So I should be able to run my test. So if I run interblag room for it. Oops, where'd that one? It ran 4 tests. Self.asserted time in app interblag object has no time app. Spend. I think I wrote the. Yes, I did. Time spent in app means this should be. Let's see if the professor fixed the code. Ah, yes, the professor did. Now there are 2 tests that passed. Again, you won't need to edit that file. That's just me fixing it as I go in the demo. So now I still have to write the function sameApp. It's telling me that the interblag object does not have an attribute called sameApp. That means is that nobody has defined sameApp. In this case, nobody means you or me. Oh, what am I doing? I should read the direction. That's one of the functions I'm supposed to write. Let's copy and paste it. This, and let's fix our indentation. Oops. Oops. All right. It takes an interblag object and it gives me back a Boolean. So it will take an object of the same type, meaning another interblag, and it checks whether both users like the same app. All right, so that means I'm going to be returning something. And actually we're going to eventually return something. So I'm going to put it down. So this function gives me a blagger. That's another way to refer to an interblag user. So the question is, do I have the same favorite app as that other blagger? So is self is, let's see, result, let's see, self.sameApp. That didn't work at terminal. Self.sameApp. Is it equal to, let's do this with I'm asking a question. If self.sameApp is equal to the other person's same app, I'll return true. Else, otherwise, I'll return false. That looks like a function. I'm asking, do I have the same favorite app as this other interweb user? If I wrote that correctly, I should be able to come over here, my terminal, and rerun all the tests. Cert is. Oh. Cert false. Cert true. Let's try that. That's wrong. I think this. All right. All right. False is not true. What test is that? I still think that I have the wrong test. Test is same. Line 19. So these should be the same. So IB1 should be the same as IB2, right? Because I created one inner blag called tweeter, and then I have another inner blag called tweeter, and then I ask, is IB1, do they have the same favorite app as IB2? And the result should be true. So if I come over here, I'm going to add some print statements. Self dot not same app. Really? Oh, it's not called same app. That is evil. I used the wrong variable name. The variable name is called favorite. How did I come up with same? I was using the function name. That's horrible. What a horrible error. Hopefully while watching the video you caught that. So now when I run the tests, because my code is correct, all of the tests pass. But when I had the wrong thing in here, so if you put in boogers, what happens if we run that? It says no. The interblags do not have boogers. They only have favorite apps. I have that correct. It runs the tests and it says everything is okay. So if you were to watch this video again, the important thing is that I'm looking at what I need to write, and I'm writing the code for my class, much like we did in class, and practicing writing initialization functions and functions that set variables, like these two, functions that do some calculation, perhaps based on some information given and information that is internal to the class. And also then some things that will check, do we have the same values or different values from another object? When I flipped over to the test file, that is something that you do not ever need to do. That is to say, I believe the test files that you get will be 100% correct, and that I only did that because I wanted to get this video recorded sooner rather than later so that you could see it. All right, so that is a walkthrough on one of the problems that you might then practice more of before Tuesday. All right, or whatever day you practice this for in the future. All right, end of video.